Nice. So, hey, we're doing a podcast.
We're doing a podcast, except to Facebook.
I know what's the deal with them, huh? Sending data.
They just won't take our data.
That's all right.
How dare they?
Oh well. I'll kick it over there later.
Okay.
Hey.
Hey.
We're doing a podcast. We're alive.
We're alive, yeah.
For those of people that listen to us occasionally, me and Dan were both dying on opposite weeks.
Yeah. I mean, dying's a bit strong, but yeah, I was. You know, you get to that point when you're sick, and you're like, you know what? Just take me. Take me now.
I felt like that too, dude. I had a headache,
Yeah.
And I still don't know if it was the Rona or not.
Yeah,
but,
I don't either.
Yeah.
I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was.
I think it was too because I was around people that had it.
Yeah, that'd do it.
And I was the guy that I work with, he got it, and we were literally together and got sick the same exact time.
That's the way to do it. Like chicken pox, just get it out of the way.
Yeah.
And, do the whole risk your life at the same time.
Yeah. It was
unlike chicken pox.
Yeah, it was nuts. I had a headache, splitting, dude, like in the back of my head. It was terrible.
Oh yeah, no, I had pretty severe muscle cramps.
Did you?
Yeah, I'm in a fever as well, and just it's no joke. Yeah, I mean, I could keep going with the symptoms, but just they start getting weirder and weirder as time goes on. So
yeah, right. It was.
I think night sweats are the worst part of it.
Yeah, those were bad.
Yeah. But we're here now.
Yeah.
We're live.
We're alive.
We are not offering medical advice to people. So.
Yeah. Well, I am. I mean, no, I'm not.
Let's stick with our realm of expertise.
You know what cured me, though? This guitar pedal right here.
That guitar pedal? Is it new?
It is new. And it came in right when I was feeling better.
They call it a fuzz pedal.
That's a fuzz, yeah.
They call it a fuzz pedal. They call it a fuzz pedal.
Yeah.
But it feels more like sandpaper.
Does it?
Yeah. Like, that's what I think about when I just turn that on. Like, I mean, that's an overdrive. I always use overdrive. I don't use fuzz.
Yeah.
Managed to solve a lot of my guitar tone problems, too. That's without the fuzz. Oh, wait, no, your fuzz is turned on. My bad.
Now check this out. I also have an octave option on here. This is why I got this thing.
It's too much guitar. Sounds like something Rage Against the Machine would play.
It's a dirty sounding thing, man.
It's extremely dirty. I need to wash my hands after hearing it.
Listen to that right there. Let's get a camera on this.
Okay.
Sorry if it's sideways, everybody. But hey.
Just turn your head sideways.
So this is the Dan Electro 3699 fuzz right here. And right now I just got it on just regular fuzz.
Extreme fuzz.
With the micro vibe, because when you got fuzz, it just, you know, you gotta have some vibe thrown on there. And then if I want to go with the octave, I hit that switch on the right. And then if I want more distortion, I turn my amp distortion on.
Fuzz. It's a lot of fuzz.
Now, the sound, I was messing with where does it fit best in the chain.
Yeah.
And I found it being right before the wah and after the microvibe and after the phaser, because the phaser going through it sounds pretty cool. And the microvibe going through it sounds like you heard that already. That sounds great. And then, but it going through the wah.
Yeah.
But having the distortion like from the amp, wherever that is in the signal chain, I don't know.
It's noisy. So you put no, your amp is last, isn't it?
Yeah. And with the wah, because the distortion from the amp is after the wah and the fuzz is before it. So it's almost like you're hearing two guitars through the wah. But yeah, it sounds pretty cool. I like it where it's at in my rig, and I don't really know when I'll ever use it, but I just love.
If you're ever gonna play
There's
metal,
occasionally that part where you need that octave, you know. And you're playing, and you're like.
just send that octave right through the roof. Is that a third?
No, that was actually, I turned on my actual Digitech whammy that is supposed to harmonize.
Okay. All right.
So there you go. But it's cool. It's got its place.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want to play metal. Is your
Oh, that's why it was.
is your octave still on? What was that?
That was the mid boost. That sounds better. The mid boost was on.
I kind of think the mid boost worked.
I feel like this sound is a little warmer.
Warmer? Huh.
So that's. Just sounds like mud.
Exactly like mud. Not really rock and roll, it's just mud.
But then I have my overdrive that I like to have on with the amp because that's like a nice clean.
Yeah, it's a more bluesy overdrive.
Right.
Yeah, I like that one.
It's more clean. Well, clear. I should say clear.
Yeah, it doesn't do a ton of compression. Maybe a little bit. Ah, sweet picking. Sustained for days.
I love how, Dan, you're just looking at me like very sophisticated.
Yes. An E chord.
As I just go.
An E over B chord,
I
actually.
go a little crazy over here.
I mean, I can start moshing if you'd like, but the room's awfully tiny.
Yeah, we're in a small room.
Yeah.
It's not made for moshing.
And I mean, I'm not made for moshing. I'm not sure if like people watching can tell, but I'm not exactly a large person.
Oh yeah.
Like
Well,
I could be used as the beach ball in a mosh pit.
well, you know what's great about you is you're the guy that would crowd surf and people would throw. up into the crowd.
Yeah, I mean they could
That's
get a
your
nice tidy
purpose.
spiral on me.
Yeah, that's your purpose, dude.
That's
They tried.
Hey.
The crowd got excited one time, and they tried to have me crowd surf.
Yeah.
And I just these guys launched me, and I just fell on top of these people and just crushed them.
Next thing you know, it's that who's that guy that just got in trouble recently for like having a whole bunch of people crushed in his crowd? And
Was
he's
that
like,
a rapper?
yeah, it was a rapper.
Yeah, I don't remember.
It was like
who
Juice
was.
WRLD or something like that. I can't
It
remember.
was something. Show rapper, you know, which is kind of wild that people got crushed at a rap concert, but
Hey, you know, you jumping up there, and you know, next thing you know, you're on fire.
He was also telling the crowd to like storm the
That may have been what it was.
The
Because he got in
area up
trouble
front.
for it. Like,
yeah, I think he told them to storm the barricade that they have at the front of the stage.
yeah.
And they did, and then also what happened was people were getting trampled at the same time.
I went to a concert. It was for a band that I don't think they exist anymore. It was I can't remember the name of the band, but the guy's like, I want everybody up and like 6 or 7 people crowd surfing at a time, and then the security's like, no, only like one person at a time. And he's like, all right, correction, I want one person crowd surfing at a time.
Yeah.
We as Human. That's the name of the band. We as Human.
I went to an Avenged Sevenfold concert, and if you crowd surf up to the stage, they stamped your wrist, and if you got 2, you were kicked out.
You were kicked out?
Yeah, they would when the security caught you, they had a stamp and they'd stamp you, and then they'd send you all the way back around to the back of the crowd, and if you got caught crowd surfing and launched up through the thing again, they look at your wrist and say, oh, you already been up here, we're kicking you out, and they just kick you out of the concert.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I wonder why that is. Just keep people from getting hurt.
They didn't want people to get crazy, I guess.
Yeah,
Which
makes sense.
that was a insane concert. I mean, have I told this story on this podcast? I don't know.
I don't think
have I told you this story?
No.
So Springfield, Massachusetts is where I'm from. My buddies call me and say, "Hey, we got there's Avenged Sevenfold's coming to town. You want to go see him?" And down at the Mass Mutual Center, and I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." So we bought tickets. It was maybe $50, $60, and so we got tickets, and we drive down there. And the city I'm from, you know, it's kind of a rough city. Like there was a lot of gang violence going on at the time.
I feel like that's Springfield. Every state in Springfield is like that.
There was some. I'll have to look it up. But there was when I looked up most crime-ridden cities in the U.S., Springfield, Massachusetts popped up in the top 10 or something.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty nuts. But and it is. I mean, it's just there's just nutty people that live there, man. I'm telling you. And we go downtown. And normally you go downtown, you're waiting for somebody to come out and start yelling and, you know, blasting some type of hip hop or reggaeton or something. And especially at that time of night. But dude, when that concert was going on, the city, it was like we're walking into the show and I'm looking at these people around me and I'm like, where did these people come from? You know, like you'd almost swear you'd see some of these guys like coming out of the sewer. You know, just like, oh, metal! And they're crawling up out of the sewer and walking up into the, you know, sidewalk. And there was no gang issues to be found in that entire radius. I mean, it was like, because it was like all these crazy looking redneck guys just showed up with tattoos and no shirts and piercings everywhere.
Yeah.
And everybody was just like, what in the heck is going on down there? And just stayed away. And I think for a night in Springfield, Massachusetts, there was no gang violence because they were all just chilling.
And just like that, Avenged Sevenfold brought peace.
That's
to
right.
Springfield, Massachusetts.
Now, what the crazy rednecks did, I don't know. They probably they probably terrorized the entire street after we left.
Yeah,
that
they probably
night.
burned a car.
Yeah,
burned a tractor.
something. Yeah, it was probably nuts. But that concert, we went into, and the first band that came up, I think they had Bullet for My Valentine. So we saw them, and
yeah, I know the band.
And they were fun, and they were wild, and their guitarist was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
One of the few bands where the guitarist like shreds and is really good. And then 3 Days of Grace.
They're a good band.
And they were good, but the dude was just whiny the whole time.
Yeah,
I don't know if he was
I
up,
imagine.
but he was just like, you guys just want to see Avenged Sevenfold. And we're like, dude, if you're going to be like that, then yes. Like, I'm
Yes.
kind of tired of hearing this.
Yeah.
There was another band in there. I can't remember who it was, but Avenged Sevenfold came on, man. And what a show they put on. And, they had the stage rigged up. So behind the band looked like this entrance to an old mansion, this creepy looking gate, right? And they had fire coming out of the beams in the gate, the posts,
gate posts,
the gate posts and everything. And behind the gate they had a screen, and it looked like this road curving up into this haunted mansion. So when the band came out, they started playing their song. I think it was Nightmare off their new album. Or no, it's not their new album now, but it was when I went.
Yeah.
So we went, and the song starts playing, and we're sitting there, and the lights are dim, and there's like these like weird strobe light things going on, and we're like, what is going on? And then I see this dude up in the spotlights, like crawling around, and I'm like, what's that guy doing up there? And everybody's like kind of pointing and looking, and all of a sudden the band hits their like big chord kicking off the song with all the guitars and drums. And the dude, he had a harness on. It was all staged. But he jumps off this beam, and he's got like a noose around his neck, and he pretends that he just hung himself.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
And then the band just starts playing, and we're like, what? And we're looking at him like, what was that? Looking at this dude, and he's playing, and he's faking dead. Like, we can see the harness on him and everything. So
Yeah.
he was all right. But he had the rope around his neck and everything. I mean, so throughout the whole night, they're playing, and everybody's just super into it. And at one point, there was like 3 mosh pits. And this was like, I want to say in a basketball court in the center. They had the whole setup. And we're like sitting there, and at one point there's this song playing, and I was like in the middle of the mosh pit. So there was 2 over here, 1 behind us or whatever. And all of a sudden this dude next to me, we're listening to this song, and he pushes me, and then I push him. And the whole, everybody just steps away, and all 3 mosh pits just turned into one massive thing, and it just became a madhouse. People were running around. There were these dudes jumping over people, and that was where I crowd surfed for the first time ever.
You got a single stamp on your hand?
I don't think I made it to the front.
Oh, okay.
I think they dropped me. Yeah, because like I said,
yeah,
you would be the crowd surfer.
I'd be the crowd football.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Everybody was coming up to me saying, dude, can you lift me up?
Yeah, they wouldn't do that to me.
That was my role in the crowd, was to throw people up on top of the crowd so that they could, crowd surf. That was my job. Me and a couple other guys, there was some dudes in there that were just massive. I could not, and they were acting crazy. There was a guy in there who was jumping around and skipping around, and he's like, at one point we're in the pit and we hit each other, but we hit each other face first, so we're just boom. And when you try to catch yourself, you hold on. So we're holding on to each other, and this dude and I are looking at each other, and he just looks at me, and he just, red in the face, screams just like he's holding on to me, and I'm just laughing, and then we start spinning, and we throw each other, and we go flying into other people, and
I'm just imagining Ring Around the Rosie.
That's what it was.
Two gigantic dudes.
We're building. We some people will do that. You'll lock arms with somebody, and you'll just do, what do they call that force? You're just spinning around.
Centripetal force, yeah.
Yeah, so you're just spinning. You're gaining all that force, and then you just launch.
Yeah.
One of you or something.
Ring Around the Rose.
So the end of that night, all the mosh pits combine. It's crazy. Everybody's just, it was there was so much energy at this show. It's one of my top shows I've ever been to, man. And it's all over. Band does a couple of, what do they call it, coming back out on stage? Encores. They do a couple encores. Yeah. And, man, it's over. We all pack up. We're walking out. Can't hear anything.
Oh, yeah.
And we get out in the lot. I'm bleeding on the side of my head. I had a shirt on at some point. Somebody ripped it off. My buddy Lorenzo was with me. He was also kind of tore up, and I forgot who else we were with. We go to Wendy's after the show, right? It's 1:00 in the morning. We go to Wendy's, and we roll up to the window, and I look up, and it's this kid I know from the neighborhood. And we make eye contact, and I go, "Hey, what's up?" I forgot his name. And he's like, "Hey, Gene, what's good, man?" He's like, "Dang, you look jacked up." And I said, "Yeah, we just came from this crazy show, dude." And he's like, "What's that?" And I said, "It was at the Mass Mutual Center. There was the band, people were crowd surfing. Oh, it was nuts." And I tell him the whole thing, and he's like, "Man, that sounds crazy." And what was funny was he was in the neighborhood, and we were all friends. He was really into rap and hip hop, and he still was. I think that was his thing. And I think he even, put out a couple songs or something. But he goes, I start telling him about what a metal concert is like, and he's like, "Dang, man, I gotta go to one of those."
So I've been to a lot of emo concerts, and they're similar. There was metal bands playing at these places, so it's kind of like emo and metal mixed together. And yeah, they get insane, and I don't like getting hit. I don't know many people like getting hit, but I don't enjoy the energy of people throwing me around. So,
see, I was that didn't really. I guess that didn't bother me.
Okay.
Being pushed and thrown around, that doesn't, because that's mainly what it is. A lot of people think you're running in there swinging fists, which some people will do, but if you're running in there and you're swinging fists, I can guarantee like 98% of the time, the rest of the pit is going to gang up on that guy because, you know, they don't want to see you just running in and, you know,
get
throwing fists
knocking
at people
out. Yeah. There's that like fight dancing or whatever that they do. Like you've seen them like kicking and things like that. It's kind of like some sort of mixture between ska dancing and just moshing.
Yeah, right. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But it was fun, and you know I went and did it. I don't know how many years ago. I went and saw Metalocalypse. Who also was playing with like 4 other bands, and I remember I got into the pit, and it was fun. But I was like, I guess I'm just not feeling this anymore. I used to be a lot more crazy when I was
You're getting older.
Younger.
You want that rocking chair? Get on that lawn, just yell at people.
Yeah. Mosh pit, wheelchairs.
Makes you wonder, like these bands that do this for a living, full time.
Yeah. Well,
these dudes are like 40, 50, 60 years old. Yeah.
Or are they?
And they're standing up there on stage like, my neck hurts. I can't do this anymore.
I think they're all right, actually. I haven't seen much. They've mellowed out though a little bit.
I haven't seen them in a while. So.
You know, and that's fine. It's not. I don't know. It is tough to keep up that stamina.
It's probably the drugs that get to him more than anything.
Right.
Yeah. Like Ozzy, he's just in a world of his own.
Oh, dude, he is so funny, man. I saw a video because they had their reality show and everything, and I saw this video where the family's coming home, and Ozzy comes walking out of his room, and he's like, Sharon, someone's been stealing my beers out of my beer fridge. And she's like, that's ridiculous. And he's like, and he just stops in his tracks and he's looking at her, and she's like, who would do that? You're the beer thief. And he's just sitting there like, and he is totally sloshed. I mean, naturally he's sloshed. I feel like
he's permanently sloshed. Like it's kind of like, yeah. He's burned out. The dude's burned out.
It's hilarious, man. He's great, and he's still coming out with stuff.
Yeah,
I don't mind it.
Hey, if it's good, it's I mean, I heard Steven Tyler sing the other day, and
oh yeah,
his voice has not aged well. But I mean, all that yelling and everything, it's starting to get to him. So,
David Lee Roth is another one.
Yeah. Some people though, you take care of your voice.
You know who's kept up their voice phenomenally?
Who's that?
In the rocker world, Sammy Hagar.
Okay.
That dude can still do the crap that he used to do back in the 80s. Okay. And I don't know how. I mean, he's just. But when you line up all the rockers together, Sammy Hagar seems like the coolest, nicest guy, and he also seems like he's kind of aware of things. You know, David Lee Roth just seems like crazy LA party animal. Steven Tyler is kind of like this, belt it till you can't anymore kind
Dude
of person.
Looks like a lady.
And Ozzy's just Ozzy.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't think of anything to explain.
He's Ozzy. Yeah, no, that's definitely.
Which is great. I'm a huge fan. Like I could watch him live. I could watch him just living his life and just laugh or just love it. It's great.
Which brings me to my next point, kids. Don't do drugs.
Yeah.
It's like the water boy.
Oh.
Remember that scene? He's talking. He's like, "Yeah, there's a guy in football, and you got to toss it and score a touchdown." And the coach is like smiling. He's like, "And brings me to my next point, kids. Don't do drugs."
That was But anyway.
Yeah.
I forgot how we got onto that track, but
you're talking about concerts.
Yeah, we're talking about concerts.
Yeah. then we got into various stuff about getting older and
Yeah. Oh, right.
mellow out a little
Because
bit.
I went to that show. But, cool thing about that show, Metalocalypse.
Yeah.
Metalocalypse has a song called Going Into the Water. And in the show, they're doing this concert that they record in the deepest part of the ocean that they can find. Because they're a death metal band. And it's, so they get in this submarine, they go down, they record, they come back, and they start playing. And they summon all these just sea creatures. So like whales, sharks, dolphins all just start attacking the crowd because they're on the shore performing this in somewhere in Antarctica on this iceberg. And the song is an epic sounding song. Like, it's heavy, it's not fast, it's just really punchy, right?
Yeah.
The one song that when I was in a mosh pit, when that song started playing, mosh pit stopped. Everyone stopped. They looked at the stage and they just saluted. Devil horns. I mean, it was just like, what song does that? This one. I've not been in any. I went to Mayhem Fest where I saw a bunch of bands. They were all playing songs, doing all this crazy stuff. There was not one band that played a song where the mosh pit stopped, looked at the stage, and saluted.
That's something else. That's a mess.
So, good show.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that, and like I mentioned, Mayhem Fest. That was a wild time too.
Mm-hmm.
That was a bunch of bands, and Rob Zombie puts on that whole event. Has a bunch of bands tour with him, and I never really was big into Rob Zombie until I saw him live, and then I was like, he puts on a great show. He's got a phenomenal guitarist. That is, he's like an old school shredder who had like a 10-minute solo. Nothing else happening. He's just going around the stage playing crazy stuff. And the crowd's watching him. It was September 11th. I don't remember what year. It was after 9/11 though. And he's shredding, doing this crazy stuff. Rob Zombie's running around the crowd. And everybody's like, yeah. And at some point, this like 10-foot tall Satan comes on the stage and walking around. And he's like this big bobblehead Satan waving his arms around. And he's the guitarist is shredding stuff. All of a sudden, he starts playing the national anthem with his teeth on the guitar. He picks up his guitar and he just starts gnawing at the guitar, playing the national anthem. And
I'm guessing it's just using the sustain from his fingers to. And
no, he was playing. I think he was playing with his
plucking
teeth.
It with your teeth. Man,
Yeah, Jimmy. That was a big Jimi Hendrix move.
Yeah,
which
but,
I think I honestly, when I saw that, I was like, that is a awesome. And maybe he didn't mean it this way, but I think that was a great tip of the hat to Jimi Hendrix, because Jimi Hendrix is famous for playing the national anthem and doing the dive bombs and all that. Jimi Hendrix also played with his teeth. He would come up to the guitar and he would go up to a string and he would do that. He would just start gnawing. Can't really do it.
It doesn't make a pleasant sound.
He did it somehow. He figured out a way to do it. I can't do it
Okay.
right.
Probably lick the string.
It wasn't licking. He was actually playing with his two front teeth.
Huh. Okay.
And I can't really do it right. It's kind of like, let's see, if I do the... Yeah, because you got to kind of like slap the string under your tooth and then just kind of rip it out. And when he got some fuzz on or some distortion, you can't really tell anyway.
Okay.
So,
All right.
he played the national anthem like that. Jimi Hendrix was known for that move. He was also known for playing the national anthem. And he took both of those and he did that. And I thought, now that is an awesome tip of the hat. I don't know if he meant it that way, but if you were going to do something crazy to compliment Jimmy,
That'd be it.
that'd be it. So,
That'd be it.
rock and roll forever, man.
Forever.
You got another tune, Dan,
Do
that
I
we
got
can
another
shred
tune?
to?
I can
Yeah.
make up something.
Oh. Yeah.
Speaking of
Yeah.
Bullet for My Valentine.
Oh,
Sorry.
nice.
I always play stuff like
Not playing E. E to an F. I'm sorry.
F sharp.
B to a C.
Change rhythm.
got anything else to say, Dan?
I don't believe I do.
All right. We've hit a good solid hour right now.
We have.
So
Hour 4.
I think we're good. Huh?
And, we went way outside the key. So much chromatic stuff.
Hey.
I guess that's what happens when I don't know what key we're actually
We were just talking about rock and roll.
Hey.
And madness, right?
Yeah, that worked.
It only fits to end with a musical interpretation of that.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree.
So there we go. And that is another episode. We know you all learned a lot. And, if your ears have bled,
you're welcome.
We've done our job.
Yeah.
All right. Goodbye, everybody. It's been real.